Hmm. Okay. So I guess I'll be putting this up on YouTube at some point or on Facebook. I haven't really decided where yet. And the reason I do little things like this, I don't think that's not a good idea. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Go back, go back, go back, go back. Oh my gosh. Okay. The reason that I'll be doing this is I noticed that nobody watches podcasts, which means that only somebody who really cares about me is going to watch this entire thing, and I think that that's kind of in short supply, so I'm okay with that. I really am. uh, so why am I doing this? I guess first of all, it's because I realized that I need an outlet. Yeah, to be quite frank about it, I need an outlet where I get to say what I believe and stick with it, and reinforce it to myself that I'm not a total crap fest, basically because nobody else is saying it. I think today's the 2nd of November. We just finished celebrating Rachel's birthday. It's a Thursday, and what happened is that I posted a Facebook post on my Facebook about let's see what it was specifically. It says, I really hope that the couple wasn't busy talking to themselves. They probably were, but what you want to do, right? So, uh, I typed in something from the Blaze. It says, the Blaze is, by the way, not a particularly well rated news outlet. Generally, of course, the fact that news outlets are rating other news outlets and CNN is a total hogwash is kind of silly to begin with, to take it seriously, but alright. So I wrote, Christians are free to think whatever thoughts they want in their heads, a generous concession to be sure, and they're free to be as religious as they want while within the walls of designated religious buildings, but anything beyond that is oppressive. Meanwhile, leftists can force you to make a cake, they can force you to share a bathroom with someone of the opposite sex, they can force you to fund the abortion industry, they can force you to pay for their birth control, they can force all sorts of belief and doctrines on your kids in the school system. They can literally march down the streets half naked in celebration of sodomy and hedonism, and none of that can be construed as oppressive. In fact, you're oppressing them by objecting to it. The reality is that some lifestyle choices are better than others, and there's a very distinct failure for people to see that today. I'm quite sure that someone homosexual who claims to love someone else who's also homosexual will kind of recognize that some of that crap has gone too far, and you wouldn't say that oh, it's a big celebration of my lifestyle. I don't think that there are very few homosexuals who I don't think there are a lot of homosexuals who would be like, well, I want my lifestyle to be celebrated throughout the entire world. It's one thing to leave me alone, and it's another thing to just like have it enforced onto other people. But that aside, yeah, so anyway, what happened is that I have these two jokers on my Facebook called, one is Yu Yan and her passive beta boyfriend, Levin, who started commenting because they were quite outraged at my posts and stuff like that, and they wanted to make all sorts of demands and questions from me, which I would answer if there was some kind of factual logic involved with dealing with these people, but there really isn't. They're just completely delusional when it comes to certain things. I mean, the moment you equate sexual orientation with race, and you decide that race is a thing that cannot be changed, you're going to really just straight up, yeah, there's really no helping you from that point. So, you know, but I think that my issue is that halfway through, and actually the thing is that I actually added both of them. I added them, and then they didn't add me. We had some arguments in the Straits Times, and I also felt that they have some points about certain things, so that initially it was a pretty decent exchange. And I also felt that it's good to have people who keep you accountable to your beliefs. I genuinely believe this as a whole. It's just that it's a little hard when it starts to dive into like the realm of delusion and stuff. But on the whole, what I noticed is that if I've been doing this for like 2 years already. Yeah, about a good 2 years since I really found like I wouldn't say my stride or anything, but basically that was when I knew that, I was a Christian and I had this view, and then these views of things, and I understand quite clearly how the world works because I have gotten to observe mostly how the world works. In the last 2 years, two of my best friends came out as homosexual. The social center I worked for brought in like all sorts of is drugs, transsexuality, homosexuality, uh, prison ministry, seeing missionaries get executed overseas. Just in the last 2 years, my entire world has changed, and now I feel that I have a pretty decent grasp of reality. I know what I'm talking about, and therefore it has strengthened my faith a lot because, well, it pretty much coincides with what the Bible says about pretty much everything, which is it's quite hard to not have it coincide with those things. That's something I can explain in a later podcast. If I know nobody's gonna be paying attention to this, which is why I recorded it. So it's just really a matter of more like, when I die, I think I'm going to die earlier than I would like, and so it's good to have a couple of these things running, a couple of things to remind me of who I am and why I do and say the things that I do, because these are things that can compromise your business, can compromise your safety, etc., etc. But I mean, yeah. So when I noticed halfway that it's been 2 years since I've been doing this, and absolutely nobody has come in that from my church because I'm friends, Facebook friends with most of the people from my church, and what I've noticed is that either they have chosen not to follow me, which is okay. I don't really think I always have something that, and then honestly, when I was younger, I posted quite a lot of crap, or I said a lot of crap, like all, oh, I'm so emotional, stuff like that, but on the whole, none of them are remotely interested in defending their faith. I think that's the truth. I think that's a fact. It's got nothing to do with me, it's just got everything to do with the fact that they're scared. I think that this church that I belong to, which is kind of ironic because we do so much work in the social center, we do so much work in prison, we do so much work overseas, but we don't have shit here. We've had a divide of people, a divide of ideas, and now they can't seem to have any clear convictions about anything. They're scared to defend what they allegedly believe in. And I think that's just sad. I used to, when I was younger, I was just Rachel's brother, or my mom's son. Those two are pretty prominent in church. They do church stuff and whatever, and that's okay. That's fine. And I always figured that, hmm?